The streams are working, so just bear with me a moment whilst I just make sure that all of that works. And we can see that we're live, so just bear with me a second to make sure that this is working. Here we go. So welcome to tonight's session. Tonight we're going to be looking at Instagram made simple. So you'll see already on the screen, I've got my Instagram. I've got everything ready to share for you tonight. So we're just going to dig into the session. I'm going to give it a couple of minutes. I'm just waiting till everybody joins. So we're just checking all the streams. LinkedIn's had a bit of an issue the last couple of days in terms of getting the stream out. So I'm just making sure that people can see me. I'm showing up in their feeds and all of that fun stuff. And then we're going to dig into some real simple foundational stuff that will help you with Instagram. So if you're a business owner, solopreneur or CEO, and you're looking to use Instagram, these are some of the fundamentals that you're going to need to cover. So just wherever you're watching, there's a chat feature or there's comments. And if you've got any questions, please do put them in the chat, put them in the comments, wherever you can see it, and I'll try and answer your questions as we go. Excuse me. So I can see some people are joining on LinkedIn. I can see some people joining on YouTube. So do let me know where you're joining from. And we're going to get into how do I use Instagram and make it work for my business. I'm not going to show you today. I mean, Instagram as a subject is probably hours long, but I'm going to kind of give you some leg up to get you going and get you benefiting from the platform. So I'm just expecting a few more people to join. So I'll just hang fire a little minute and then we will get going. Just whilst I'm here, I just want to share that this session is supported and funded by Oxflep, which is the Oxfordshire Local Enterprise Partnership based in Oxfordshire. And if you're a business based in Oxfordshire, you can get tons of support. I'm just going to put it up on the screen. Tons of support from the Growth Hub to help you grow your business, expand, access resources, access support in all its forms, funding the works. And if you are a business based in Oxfordshire, you can get this support. There's also a ton of events that you can join. And the business support tool is brilliant because it helps you see what help do I need in my business? And then Oxlep can get in touch with you and say, this is how we could help you. This is the resources that are available for you. And as you can see, there's various different stuff going on. So I can see a few people have joined now, so that's brilliant. Andrew, yes, there will be a replay available. What you probably need to do is tomorrow, Oxlep will drop you a line with some details. They'd really appreciate anybody filling in the support tool who's based in Oxfordshire so that they can tailor the support. Literally, there is government support waiting for businesses. They just have to access it or ask for it. So let's get started. Let's go through it and let's get going. So just bear with me a moment. So if you haven't gathered, I'm Dean. I do a lot of the training for Oxlep on social media. And what I wanted to talk tonight about is some of the fundamental principles to getting Instagram right and getting it working for you. So it's really important as we get out of the starting blocks here that you are very clear on what you want to achieve with Instagram, i.e., who's the audience you want to reach and what's your message for that audience. The reason being is, like all social channels, but particularly Instagram, it's a very visual platform. And so the very nature of it is, as you look through the feeds, I'll just refresh my feed here. As you look through the feed, you'll see that there is a consistency to what I'm doing. The messages are clear and it all fits together. So fundamental principle number one, you have to know my Instagram. Who is it for and what's my objective? Many people approach Instagram and go, if I get lots of followers, I'll be able to make money or grow my business. It's not the case that that's the way the way it works. You can have hundreds or thousands of followers and get no visibility, no reach into your marketplace, and no engagement from your target audience. So it's not a followers game in the sense of you need thousands. It's a space where you need to get the right people engaged with you. And so the content has to do all the work. Now, I will show you some tips called anchoring a little bit later, but we need to start with the fundamentals. So the fundamental principle is, who's this for? Target audience. What's my message to them? And how am I going to keep their interest? You know, human beings, we don't give people our time because they're nice people. Yeah, often we give people our time because there's a benefit to us. Now, I'm not talking about human relationships here. I'm talking about social media. So if you think about your Instagram, if you're not entertaining or engaging a crowd, you won't grow an Instagram account. And if you're not consistent in the communication that you're putting out, both in terms of output and in terms of message, you'll make a mess of it. So let me give you an example. Now, I've got in front of me my personal Instagram account, but I also have a themed Instagram account here. And I'll just show you this one so you can see it. And please do ask questions in the chat here, wherever you're watching, do ask questions. I'll just show you another one here, which is another themed account. So I've got here 3 Instagram accounts I work. One is my personal Dean Seddon Instagram. One is my business themed account. And the other one is a hobby themed account. And we can learn something from each Instagram account because we understand why people are paying attention to each account, and we can see the difference. So first things first, this is a themed account. So you can see that this one here is very inspirational and motivational. The imagery is different, but the theme is the same. And if I zoom out a little bit, just so you can see it in kind of in a different perspective, you can see Expert in Demand Instagram account. There is a pattern, a visually pleasing pattern to the layout, first of all, but the message and what I'm doing with the Instagram is consistent. In other words, if I get people who come and engage with this post, and they find it interesting, and they come and look at my profile, they'll see, oh, he shares other quotes as well, other interesting content. I want to be part of this one. So this is what we call a themed account. So if you are starting a business and you were launching it, the question is, do I create a personal account or a themed account? And it's actually totally up to you which way you do this. Naturally, a personal account can generally do better. But in this case, because I've been very focused with what I'm putting out, my themed account is outperforming me personally. And then I'll show you my hobby account, and you can see the difference there. And I'll show you some of the times when I've deviated. But you can't laugh because this is a hobby account and I'll get some stick from this one. So this is my hobby account, which is actually about Star Trek. Yeah. Now, I want to show you this to give you some examples. So the theme of this account is very much about Star Trek. Now, don't ignore the theme for a moment. I'm just trying to make a point. So you can see this one here, 736 likes, 72 comments, 305 likes, 31 comments, 371, 16. And you can see there's a high engagement on these because the theme is consistent. 604, 152. So you can see there's a consistent theme, except I put a picture of me in there, 6 likes. I put a picture of the Eternals in there, 30 likes. I put a picture of my desk there, 25, 178. So what I'm trying to get at, and I know it's a bit of a funny example, is that if you're not consistent with a theme, what happens is you don't connect with your audience. And so you don't build your following, and you don't build that community who appreciates what you put out. So I'll use the example. If I put out palm trees every day on my Instagram and I put them out, different pictures of palm trees and sunsets, I'll attract a crowd who likes looking at palm trees and sunsets. But if I then change and start putting pictures of cars on there or pictures of buildings on there, the previous audience will disconnect from it. Annie, I'm not wearing a Star. I'm not that bad. I'm not that bad. I won't be wearing a Star Trek uniform. But you see what I'm saying is if you switch around, it can become confusing for people. And so what happens is you build a disjointed Instagram where you get loads of followers because you follow the trends. Sarah, yes, I did do a face app on him and my audience didn't like it, but I thought it was funny. So what I was doing is if I'm going to start a business, or I've got a business and I'm solopreneur, I would be very careful about how I approach my personal life and my business life. And I'm going to show you on my account. So this is an account I started in December. I restarted an account in December and said to people, I'm going to start again, see how difficult it is, and tell people and help people see what they need to do. So first things first, you'll notice there's a pattern. I'm about to change that pattern, and I've been doing like a fluorescent blue and then an alternate white. And because I'm a business selling training, that's what my business does, I have focused on, instead of beautiful imagery, in your face messaging. Yep. So in your face messaging is my visual. So if people see this in the feed, they either get it or they don't, and they move on. So I'm attracting people who like what I do. Now I'm going to change it a little bit now, and I'm going to alternate so that people see a bit more of me, because people buy from people. So if I'm a solopreneur, or if I'm a one-person business, or I want to use my own Instagram to sell, I will mix a little bit of personal, but make sure the business is very clear. Now here, let me tell you why I went with in-your-face text visuals. If I do pictures, beautiful pictures, because what I do isn't necessarily always visual, and it isn't very exciting to show screenshots of webinars. I'm not doing in-person events, albeit I'm on the 15th of June, we're actually doing an event in Oxfordshire. So we're going to do a session in Oxfordshire in an afternoon, a masterclass in Oxfordshire on the 15th of June. So I'll look out for that. But the reason I'm avoiding doing beautiful pictures is because people might come liking the pictures. Now, I have added some pictures recently, but I'm talking more about my personal life in between the business posts, so people get a flavor of who I am, what I'm about. So I've opted, because I'm not selling a product I can show, I've opted to go in-your-face graphics. And this is very common for service providers. For product businesses, you would go all in with the product, show the product in different ways, maybe do tutorial videos, things like that. But you would create a pattern in your grid and in your feed how it's done. Hopefully that makes sense. So you can see that my personal account is very in your face. There's a few times I show my face. I'm not the most photogenic, but there's a few times I show my face just so that people know who I am and what I'm about. But I'm trying to basically lead with, this is what I do, and get people interested in the subject rather than try and put visuals that will wow people, because that's difficult for somebody who does what I do, and I do it virtually. So in your scenario, if you're selling a product, you might do a mix too. You might do a picture of a product and then something personal, or you might do a picture of a product and then an in-your-face post like I've got here. Now, the idea is, of course, when people are scrolling, they're actually scrolling like this. So you can see the in-your-face visuals versus the pretty pictures. You'll see I get a lot of in-your-face visuals because of the industry I work in, but occasionally things will show up where it's actually pretty pictures or nice pictures. But most of the time, it's not pretty pictures. That was my wife a few minutes ago. So first things first, build a plan. Am I a theme account? I am a personal account. And am I going to do the picture piece and personal? Am I going to do in your face? Because it's important. People will get used to seeing your content. And so you need to be consistent in the way you present it so that they can get to grips with it and go, this is Dean, or this is Expert in Demand, or this is Dino Trek. Yeah, they get used to it. Now, when we come to posting, there's obviously a couple of different types of post. So we've got the grid posts, which are these here. So you can see this post I put up here, and you can see I put the image and a screenshot of a tweet, and then I put a bit of a caption. Yeah, I've put my sign off. So I always put a sign off to tell people what I do. So if you were selling a product, if you want more X, Y, or Z, follow or DM me, put a call to action in every post at the bottom, ask people to follow you, and then we get the hashtags. So hashtags here, and this is really important. You might want to make notes here. So if your account's quite small, mine is quite small, don't try to compete on the big, high following hashtags. Try to focus on using smaller hashtags and compete in those. So Sarah, or anybody who's watching here, if you want to suggest what you do in the chat, I'll give you some ideas. But say, for an example, I was into, I don't know, knitting. Yeah, just knitting for an example. You'll see when I put the hashtag in here of knitting, it's giving me a load of suggestions. Now, my account, obviously, if I was on about knitting, of course, that would be one thing. But for me to try and compete in a 22 million post hashtag, I don't have a chance of competing. Yeah. Sarah, I'll come to, I won't put links in my Instagram post because you can't use links on Instagram and posts, in grid posts. I'll show you what you do with the links in a minute. But you see here, right? So if I look at this one, if I use this one, I will really struggle to compete. So online games-based learning magazine, right? So if I go here and online games, so let's just go like that. Yeah. So online games is a bit smaller. So if I start to look here and go online games, yeah, there's loads of different ones, but there's actually a lot of small ones. So what I would do in your scenario, Sarah, I'd be looking to go online games is one of my hashtags I'm going to take on. But then what I would also look at are what are the hashtags that my demographic might be following. So I can also go games online. So there's a few more. Yeah. Sorry. I run online games-based learning magazine, right? Right. Okay. So what I'd be looking for is the topics in the magazine and who the target audience is, and then be looking at who the target audience would be. Yeah. So if I was looking for, say, example, my magazine was for coaches, I'd look at the hashtags for coaches, for an example, and go, how do I find the smaller ones where I can compete? So coaching online, I try and compete in that one. I try and compete in maybe coaching personal. So I try to pick them. Now, don't go nuts on hashtags. Stay with about 10. 10 is a good number. You don't need to go over the top, but get a good bank of hashtags. And you'll notice I stick to the hashtags I use. I stick to them and use them consistently to prevent me so I can learn. Because with every post, I get insights. So if I look at this post here, so I've had 64 likes. Oh, this is a reel. But if I go to, say, this post here, I get insights. And I can see how people have engaged and how many people found it from the hashtags. So I can then start to learn, okay, what are people responding to? And I can tweak my hashtags as I choose. So grid posts, you should be thinking about putting a grid post out at least one a day. One a day to start with. Remember, you've got to keep a pace because once you build an audience, they expect to see you. And if you are not consistent in putting stuff out, they'll lose sight of you. So grid posts, you need to get them out with 10 hashtags, and you'll notice how I've done it. A caption, and then a sign off saying follow and my hashtags. I'd always put the hashtags on the posts. Don't go overboard, and always put a sign off to make it clear. Yeah. So that's the first thing about a grid post. Now, some of my grid posts, if I come down a little bit more, the fishing lessons, some of my grid posts, the text is quite long. Yeah. Text is really long, but I'm trying to tell a story and use this to grab the attention. So grid post once a day. You want some captions. You want obviously the consistency of the color scheme and styling and things. Captions, which is the text, the sign off and the hashtags, and do that consistently with your 10 hashtags. Once you've started to learn that, once you've got that going, you can start to tweak the hashtags and see over a course of a week, how did my hashtags do? How many what traffic did the hashtags bring me? And then you could play around and tweak a few of the hashtags. Now, Sarah asked, I think it was Sarah, would you put links in the place you want people to go in the comments? No. One of the tools you can get is a tool called Linktree. Linktree. And because Instagram doesn't let you link in a post, Linktree allows you to pin a number of links to the top. So I've got one here, but I can add multiple links into here to say, here's my latest training. Here's a PDF you can download. Here's an event coming up, and I can put little buttons. And then in my promotion, so Sarah, for an example, if you said subscribe, the new magazine's out, take a look online, you could have a link tree that says latest edition. And then you could say in the caption here, to read the full article, check out the link in the description. And then you go to Linktree and they can find it. So your posts could be teasing something that's in the Linktree. Linktree, there is a free version, I believe, but it's about £6-7 a month to have Linktree. And you can just chop and change the links whenever you like. So you could literally put an edition in. You don't need to change the link ever. You just go into Linktree and replace them. It's like a directory of links. I wouldn't put too many on there, 3 or 4. Don't overload it because you'll kind of get people confused as to where you want them to go. So grid posts, you can draw back to the Linktree. Now, you'll notice on my account, I've got a creator account or a business account. The creator and the business account, you can just set up when you go into the settings. You get additional analytics if you use the creator account or the business account. A personal account, you get very little analytics, so you don't see the insights. The creator account is if you're pushing content. So Sarah, a creator account might be perfect for you. Whereas a business account is where you might want to put a shop ultimately or sell product. You need to have a business account. So creators about content and pushing traffic kind of thing. Business accounts more about, do you want to actually use it to sell? Because you can't just sell on any account. You have to choose the right one. So I've got a creator account for this one. And I think all of my accounts will be creator accounts. But you'll notice a couple of things that I've done. First of all, my handle is my name, fine. But then my name on the account is actually different. So it's Dean Become the Expert in Demand. Now I've changed my name just so that it gives me another position on the profile to tell people what I do and who I am. And you'll see here, I've got a description and that tells people this is what I do. I've put this line here again. And the reason I put this line in here is Expert in Demand is a new training program. So I'm keen to push that message, Expert in Demand. And then I've got a call to action to say, if you want to know more, DM me the word clients to start a call to action. So you can see that's my name. That's my username. This is my bio. It's important that you make clear in the bio who you are, what you're about. So people can see and go, this is relevant to me. This isn't relevant to me. So we've done posts. We've done profile. Hashtags, you're going to have to do a bit of research. Yeah. And trial and test whilst you're posting. Now, Reels are a relatively new thing, and they're very similar to TikTok. And they're similar in the sense of that Reels are great ways to drive traffic. This one's not done so well, actually. Great ways to drive traffic. So a Reel is just a short form video, and I'll just show you a couple of what I've done here. So this one here is a clip from a podcast I did a couple of weeks ago. And this one here is a clip from me in a podcast. And then here, this is a clip from me in a podcast. So you can see they get really good views. Yeah. And you can see here, this is me in a podcast again with my famous hat. This is me with a podcast guest again. And you can see 690 views, 3,500 views, 500 views. So you can see there's a big mix of views and reach and all of that stuff. This one got 9,000 views, this one here. So these are short bits of video that you can put up. And when you put one up, you get the option of putting it into a post as well. So you can see here, this reel and this post are the same. It's the same thing. So reels are great ways to get broader attention. So I would highly encourage you to use reels. If you're worried about what to do with reels, that you can go to Etsy, etsy.com, and there's loads of people who on there, you pay them like £5 or £10, and they'll literally give you tons of ideas of what you can do with reels. They'll even, some of them have made some motivational, inspirational stuff. They give you templates for like £10, £15. They'll give you templates that you can use. So there's no need to kind of obsess about, oh, I've got to make all this stuff. You can literally go to Etsy, and this applies to posts as well. Yeah, and I'll just show you Instagram templates. Yeah, now I use Canva, but you can see here, for £20, I can get 100 modern real estate. Etsy, etsy.com. And I can go in and see, look, good vibe quotes. And so some of the content that you might need to produce, somebody might be selling either a template or some of it ready-made for you already. So I'm not saying you just copy other people. What I'm saying is these people are creating frameworks, templates, and examples that you can use. So rather than you spend hours and hours trying to make one, you could go to these people And some of them will say, right, here we go. This one here, 300 business Instagram templates, and it's for Canva. £33 for 300. That's a pretty good deal. Obviously, check into them and have a look. Yeah. And you can see all the pictures and go, is that relevant? Is it the right for me? But because they're Canva templates, Canva is there's a free version of Canva and a paid version. The paid version is about £7. You can load all those templates in. Yeah. So here we go. I've got, look at these templates here. I can load these templates in. Yeah. And I'm going to customize this template. And I can literally change the text. I don't like that color. Okay. I'll have it as my color. I want that text in black. And so Canva will make your life easier. One, you can make more professional posts, but also you can access a massive community on Etsy of people who are making things that you can just, buy and take an example of. So Canva and Etsy will be your best friends. Canva can make Instagram stories. It can make reels. Literally, I can go in here and go, I want to make an Instagram post. Yeah, so it'll set it up. I want the background to be my blue. And I want my text to be here. I'm just doing this really silly and simple. Yeah. And then, I want an image. So I'll go into the elements and go shocked man. I can go into the photos here. I'm not going to take too much time upon Canva, but I can go, there's a shocked man. Now, the other good thing about Canva is, I don't want that background. I want to get rid of that background. So I can click edit the image and I can remove the background. So this is like the easiest graphic design software you can ever use. Literally anybody can use this. Yeah. So he's a bit big for the picture that I'm making here. Oh, I didn't click to remove the background properly. Let me just do it. Sorry. Yeah, so I can quickly make things to share, but Etsy has loads of people who can give you a template. So they'll give you a template and then you can just tweak and change as you go. Yeah, but Canva is brilliant for making this stuff. So Canva, Canva, and Etsy, Etsy. Really good tools. Etsy, you just buy what you need. And Canva, if you want the all singing, all dancing version, I think it's about £9 a month. So it's not a huge amount of money. So let's say, for an example, I've done this video. This is a post. So I've done this as a post. And now what I want to do is I want to promote this as a story. So on Instagram, you can create stories, which are the short, snappy pictures, videos or posts. So let's say, for an example, I've made this post. I know it's a bit silly, but I've made this post and I put it on my feed and I want to promote it. Let's say I'm promoting an event or something. I can go into Canva and say, I want to make this now into an Instagram story. So here's an Instagram story. There we go. So I want to make it into an Instagram story. So I've made this post, copy it and make it into an Instagram story for me. And so it's resized everything for me. And then I can resize him if I want to. And just detach him from the background. So I could, it's not a very good design I've done here, by the way, but I could attach him here like this. Yeah, and I could make a story. I'm doing this very, very quickly, but you can see there's a million different designs already in Canva for me that I could pick from. Yeah, I can pick tons of different stories. So coming back to Instagram, so we don't get lost. Posts we put out once a day. Reels, the suggested number is 2 a week. 2 a week, which could be you on a video on your phone, literally on your phone going, hi, everybody, this is the latest update on what we're up to. Or it could be you giving some tips as a reel. So if I was a knitting enthusiast, I don't know why I picked on knitting, but I could put my phone, and I'm literally putting my phone there now and going, hello, everybody, a couple of quick Instagram tips. If you want to get really good grid posts, you could go to Etsy, and there's loads of creators on Etsy that for 10, 15, 20 pounds, you can get a bank of 100 templates. So go to Etsy and you can get them. Now I could do that as a reel, put it out, people will get value from it and check out me and go, oh, I'll follow Dean because he brings out loads of useful advice. So I could do that with my reels. Now with my stories, and I don't know whether we can do this if you're watching, if you're on Instagram, I'll just do it now. When I go to my post on the grid, you can only use stories on mobile. When you go to the bottom of your grid post, you've got the heart, the comment symbol, and the arrow, the paper aeroplane. If you click that, you can actually publish. You can actually publish and post your grid posts to your story. So that's the quickest way to get your stories out, to get your content out, is to share the posts in the story. Now you can do individual stories as well. So if you have a look at my profile now on Instagram, you'll see I've got a story right now, which is actually my grid post. And that just gives you another way to be found. Now you can obviously make unique story posts. That's perfectly fine to do. But the first thing you got to do is get a consistent stream. So for me, I'm not so hot at doing videos straight to camera. I really struggle with it. So I will do a podcast and film the podcast and then cut things down. You might feel really comfortable. And I want to say this now. Whilst I've just said I'm not very comfortable doing videos straight down my mobile phone, I always feel like apologies if you can hear me, something just glitched out and I'm just going to get it working again. Hello, there we go. So there's obviously a glitch somewhere, but I think you can hear me now. So, Oliver, apologies if I've just knocked out the Facebook live feed. So you'll see on my Instagram, there is I've now published a story on my feed, and you'll see, I'm just going to check that the live's still working whilst we're working away. You'll see on my story now, there is a post, which is my post from earlier. So I don't know what's happened with my camera. Apologies. There's some kind of glitch going on here. Yes, we're back up, Brill. So grid posts, 1 a day, reels twice a week. And I'd encourage you, at least in the early stage, there's loads of advanced stuff we can do with Instagram. But at least initially, every time you do a grid post, get it up into your stories. Get it up into your stories. You can put polls and things into your stories, and you'll see those features. And I would encourage you, but the first priority for you is to get your grid post going every day consistently. Also, if you link your phone, your Instagram to your personal Facebook, this is a little hack here. If you do that and link the two up, your engagement across Facebook and Instagram is linked together, and you tend to see an increase in visibility on Instagram if you've linked the two together. So on my phone, when I post on Instagram, it actually posts to my Facebook personal profile too. And so if people engage there, then it will help my post on Instagram. So it's really important, if you want to make the most of Instagram, you have to do that work with the hashtags. You have to get your profile in order. You have to get consistent with the grid posts. Again, Canva and Etsy can help with that. But there's one more thing I want to talk about before we finish tonight, and apologies that the glitch there, is anchoring. So anchoring is a common principle that you use across social media to help grow your account. And it's real simple. So let's say, for an example, Dean on Instagram, still by Instagram standards, a very small account. But what I can do is anchor my account to other people who are doing way better than me on Instagram. So for an example, Gary Vee, very well-known social media influencer. And what I can do is anchor by engaging with his content and basically commenting. And what I'm doing is I'm anchoring my account. Now, Gary Vee's a bit on the high side of followers, but there might be other people in your world that are very similar, but a bit further down the road. Engage with them. Don't worry about the competition piece. Engage with them, get to know them, and engage with all of your followers. Yeah. So I would make an effort to anybody who comments, engage with them. Anybody in your industry, pick 10 to 15 accounts that are doing better than you in your industry or in your target audience, and go and engage with them. That will help your account get more visible, and it will help you build your following more quickly. The days of follow people and then unfollow, that kind of stuff's over now. You've got to build a community. That means engaging with everybody, and earning your stripes, engaging back and forth. And what will happen is your account will start to build. It does take a bit of time. I've got from December to, where are we now? May. It's got me to 1,200 followers. Now, is it where I want it to be? No, but I'm doing it from scratch because I know in the long run, it will serve me well when I've built out my presence, I've built out my community, the people who like Dean on Instagram. It will pay off in the long run. But you'll notice, just to bring back to my spaceship Instagram, just before we finish, and if there's any questions, by the way, if you've got any questions, please do put them in the chat and I'll happily answer your question. I'll stay on. You'll notice that this one actually does better, way better, 1,500 followers than my business one. And the reason is this one is so tightly focused that people are very passionate about this topic. So this one does very, very well simply because people are very passionate about this topic. So you can see these pictures mean nothing to you and you're probably going, what a geek. Yeah. But actually these pictures, this one here, 4,000 people have viewed this little video. Yeah. So you start to look at that and you go, wow, that's because I've built this account, very strong theme that resonates with my audience. I think somewhere, so this one here did very, very well. I got more likes than I had followers at the time. So you're probably going, what a sado. But what I'm trying to show you is a theme, a theme with a very focused interest group can do way better than a personal account sometimes when you can focus in really tightly on a topic. Now, if I decided, right, and this is where the interesting bit is for you guys, if you want to turn to e-commerce, you need a business account. So if I built this little Star Trek page, I could then turn it into a business account and sell t-shirts, or I could sell memorabilia, or all of that stuff to do with Star Trek and Star Trek spaceships, because that would make sense, because what I'm selling links to the theme. If I tried to sell t-shirts on my Dean Seddon profile, it would look a little bit weird because people aren't that passionate about Dean and what Dean says yet. I've got to build that up. But likewise, these quotes, I could make wristbands and posters, and I could sell all of these posters to people really easily. Why? Because the theme and the graphics resonate. So think about it like that. If you're going to do a theme, people have to be really passionate about it. If you're going to do a personal one, and you've got a product, then obviously that's going to work much better for you because you can take the pictures of it. And then people see the pictures, and if they're interested, they see the product. I want to see that. If you're selling a service, I'd say, in my opinion, you have to do what it says on the tin and literally be very direct and show people in their face what it is. Now, sometimes I'll reuse this content on LinkedIn. Sometimes I'll reuse it on other channels, but I'm making a consistent visual for everybody to see. Yeah. Does that make sense? Anybody got any questions? Anybody want to ask any questions? No? So look, if you're based in Oxfordshire, please do get in touch with Oxlet. They have got business support for you. If your business is trading or based in Oxfordshire, they've got resources for you to help. If you want to come find me on Instagram or ask me any questions, I'll be on Instagram. You can come and connect with me. Just remind me how we met and I'll happily help you. I'm a big fan of voice notes on Instagram. So if you drop me a line, I'll come back to you and help you out. I would encourage you, Instagram, the first few months is really difficult because you just have to commit to taking the action. But you start to see some traction. You start to build some traction. Just one final thought just before I sign off, which is really important. Followers. Yeah. Do go and follow and engage with people who are relevant. So you can see I'm following 364 people. Actually, I got my first 100 followers when I started the account in December, or maybe in late November. The first 100 followers were probably from me following those 364 people. I engaged with them, I interacted with them, and some of them followed back. Now, I wouldn't advise you just follow lots of people to get followers because you end up with an account that looks out of balance. But to get a minimum level of momentum, that's where you should start. follow some people, engage with them, anchor your accounts to some bigger accounts in your area or your vertical or your product area, and then also anchor your account to some of your target audience. Go and engage with them, go find them, interact with their posts to build up your account. Will take a bit of time, but within 2-3 months, you'll start to feel the benefits. And then as you grow, I've had about 5-6 clients from Instagram now because of my consistent posting. People who've seen it and I was like, I didn't even know you were looking. It takes a bit of time. People don't just buy because they see you the first time. People don't just engage because they saw you the first time. It's a journey they have to go on. And so the reason you're consistent, and you need to be consistent, is so that they see you and they consistently see you, so that they build up that trust, awareness, and a level of relationship that means that they want to buy from you or they want to know more from you. So hopefully that's been helpful. As let's make it as simple as we can. Get your profile in order, pick 10 hashtags. Don't pick the big mammoth ones, pick the focus ones that are relevant. Get your grid posts out once a day, do a couple of reels a week, reshare your grid posts in stories, get a link tree. If you're stuck for ideas, Canva and Instagram, Etsy. And if you're still stuck, drop me a line. Drop me a line on Instagram and say, Dean, how would you do this or how would you do that? And I'll happily help you do it. So thank you for joining us today. Apologies with the glitch in the middle of the session. It was quite scary that the way it just cut out. Please do go and do the support tool from Oxlep. They'll be delighted to provide you with any support. If there's grant funding available, they'll tell you. If there's any kind of things to help you grow the business, they will absolutely tell you. But thanks for joining us tonight. And we're back in, I think, a week's time, and we're doing another session on another topic. So check out wherever you registered for this event, Oxlep's LinkedIn company page, Oxlep's website. We have about 4 or 5 events over the next month, all very practical. Let's get started with something. So thank you for joining, and I'll see you on Instagram. I'll see your posts on Instagram. And if you get stuck, drop me a line.